Hey guys, welcome back. It's Havilah and it's 11 o'clock and I'm about to go to bed. But I just wanted to make this video because it was on my heart and I have been going through a lot of challenging things lately. So if you've been going through anything, a quarter of what I've been going through, and you need some words of encouragement, or if you feel like you're in a storm, this message is for you. I feel like this whole year has been very eventful. As you may know, we are shifting. A lot of changes are happening, a lot of transitions. I also feel like every time around this year, around October, just the winter arc, October, November, things get real, things get deep. It's kind of like a purging season. But this has been going on all year. I have been put through the most trials I have ever been through this year. And because some of them I'm still in, I don't feel necessarily comfortable talking about all the details. And at some point I will, because I do feel that they do need to be shared. Because I know so many of us are dealing with the same things as far as like spiritual warfare and just a lot of issues within our families and with our friendships, and it's not talked about enough. And it's been talked about more, but it's not talked about enough. I don't necessarily feel comfortable telling everything, but I do feel equipped to speak on this matter. I think my whole entire life is leading me up to this very moment. Everything I've ever been through, everything I've ever endured, I definitely think there's going to be a time where I speak on it. This year made me realize my whole life has been trials and tribulations. And I think when you have a purpose, a divine purpose, and you are a child of God, I think your path is 10 times as hard. And it's not freaking easy. It is not easy at all. But if you are going through a troubling time, you have to know, you have to zoom out. You cannot be so engulfed in the issue, in the storm. You have to zoom out. And you have to know, and you have to be sharp, because in the storm, I feel like two things are happening. One, I feel the devil, darkness feeds off of it. It's trying to get you to go back. The other half is God is preparing you. God is waiting for you to pass this test to get to the next level. I personally feel I'm going through the most turbulent storm of my life, and I feel like it's not the last test. It's not the last test, but it is the breakthrough. It is the one before the breakthrough. This year has been the most chaotic, craziest year of my life. Simultaneously, there's been amazing things as well. But when I tell you, you can't even make this up. The stuff that I've been through is so insane. But I know that my breakthrough is right around the bend. It's like you have to know every time you go through something, every time you go through a tough season, you know, there's chaos, there's just disruption, there's distractions. You have to know. You have to know there is a breakthrough. On the other side, something amazing and beautiful is waiting for you, and God is waiting for you to weather the storm, to rely on Him. I feel like right now, this is the closest I've been to God. This is the closest I've heard God. And it's just so interesting because the entire time it's just He wanted me to rely on Him. And they were outside factors where I was like, oh my goodness, this is happening because like, this is what I need, you know? And then this is happening because like, this is what I'm gonna need before I get to the next level. And it all crumbled. My whole world just like fell apart, and it's falling apart. And I realized, oh no. It wasn't anybody outside of me and God. You need to remember God's promises. If you are going through a tough time right now, you need to remember God's promises, and you need to know what He put in your heart, whatever those desires, whatever those dreams are, it is going to come to pass. Anything that you are going through right now, it is going to pass. Zoom out. Zoom out. I don't know how old you are. Me personally, with all the lives I've lived and all the years I've lived and all the experience, I know that every single time I go through something, Just I never think I'm gonna get out of it. This one I know I'm gonna get out of it because I have enough data and I know, like, oh, this is nothing. Like, oh, you trying to, you know, get me off course. I have enough data to know. And also when you read and you hear other people's testimonies and you hear other people's breakthroughs, there's always the final test. Like I said, there's multiple tests, but there's always that test where you're just like, I have never been here before. I feel like literally the devil himself is trying to take me out. I felt that multiple times this year. But little does he know, I am a child of God. But you have to know, it's just a test. It's part of the journey. It is part of the journey. Do not relapse. Do not go backwards. Stand tall. Have hope. Have faith. You're going to get through this, like you always do. We always get through this. We always persevere. God always has us. God is always protecting us, which is another thing. When you worry and when you give into your fears, you are trusting the darkness. You are trusting those other things outside of you that God did not put in your heart. You are trusting those things more than you are trusting your abundance, God's promises, who you know you are to be. Deep in your core, like me personally, I've always known, and I'm trusting myself more. And it's so funny because simultaneously I feel like I'm dying and I'm getting put through the ringer, but I'm also having this sense of trust in myself and in God, because I know who God has called me to be and I know what God has put in my heart. I'm just riding off faith right now. And I've gone through so many stages, but just recently, which is why I'm making this video, because you have to come back to God. You have to come back to your center. All of these other worries just don't even matter. They don't even matter, especially as a time as this when everything is so spiritual. You have to ride on only faith. Anything that comes up in the physical world is going to try to throw you off course. It's going to try to bring you back. It's not going to make sense. We're riding on faith. We're riding on God's word. And I know the mind, we search for evidence, right? We search for so much evidence to like validate our experience. But you have to shed everything. You have to shed everything. Whatever this new season that you're walking into, it's just you and God hand in hand. And that's how I feel. I've gone through all these phases and seasons and beating myself up. And I could have done this, could have, should have, would have, all this stuff. Oh my goodness. And none of that matters. None of it matters. Especially when you're on the path. Especially when you're on the journey and you're committed. You know better. You're going to do better. That's okay. Don't worry yourself about what you could have done, what you should have done. Weather the storm. Plan. If you are going through it, plan. Don't plan for stuff that you don't want. Don't plan for the worst case scenario. That's what the devil wants you to do. I'm never going to get out of this. Oh my gosh, I'm in the same position again. I'm in the same, oh my goodness. Oh, you know, but I'm in all this stuff and debt. And now I don't know what you're going through. It could be a numerous things. And there were civil cases and lawsuits and distance. And how are we going to quit this job and get, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Plan for the breakthrough. Plan for the breakthrough. Plan for God's promises. That's it. I went through all these different emotions, all these different things, and it's good to feel it. You need to feel it. Feel the emotions. But what always brings me back out, I'm like, well, I'm a child of God. I'm a child of God. Like, do you not know who you're messing with? Like, baby, we up. Plan. Don't worry. Don't be so stuck in it. You have to know that you're going through it because a breakthrough is coming, and that's what keeps you going. So you plan for that breakthrough. You learn through everything that you need to learn through. When you are in a storm, that is when the most growth happens. I can't tell you how much I've learned and how close I've grown to God, which is what He's wanted all along. And of course, the devil, that tricky little bastard, he's going to try to get in where he fits in. If you're at a low, he's going to try to come in and keep you there, knock you 10 steps back. We're not going for that. So I just wanted to send you some words of encouragement. Hold steady. Know what is going on. Know the steps. Know the process before you bloom. You have to know. There's always a process. And once you understand the process and you understand what stage you're in, you can maneuver better. You can process things better. So don't get caught up. And don't get caught up worrying and racking your brain. Give it up to God. I know that's so hard to do, but you really have to give it up to God. You have to prepare for the breakthrough. Why are you worrying about things that you can't fix, that you can't handle right now? You can't change. This is a season that you're supposed to be going through. So you can learn the things that you need to learn, so you can be still, so you can rely on God. Give it up. Give it up to God. Let it go. Whatever you're going through, you will get through. We're going to get through it. It's going to be all okay. It really does just keep getting better. As long as you're faithful and you're doing what you need to do, and you know that you've been doing what you were supposed to, you're good. Like, you're good. It's written in text, you know? Like, it's just, it's written in the book. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like, it's on paper. It is what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. You know? So, just wanted to send some words of encouragement. I love you so much. You're going to get out of it. So don't worry. And I'm telling you this as I'm in my own storm right now. I'm in a storm. I'm in a hurricane. I am in the trenches. And I have this sense of peace where I'm just so excited. Like, I'm so excited because I truly believe for God's people, they're about to be blessed so abundantly. But we just got to get through this last shift. We got to work through these last kinks. We really have to be ready. You said you're going to do X, Y, and Z. When you get on and do whatever you're supposed to do, I give you whatever you're supposed to do. All right, bet. So stand on that. And in this season, you prep. In this downtime, you reflect. You don't beat yourself up, but you reflect. You do what you need to do. And you also, any feelings of worry, fear, lack, non-support, you switch that. You switch it because you have control. Give God control. It doesn't need to be bad. It doesn't need to feel like you're dying. Even though I'm finally dying, I feel like I'm like shedding tender. Like, I feel like I've died. In the past 2 months, since August, I feel like I've died a million deaths. And it is painful, but it is beautiful. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're on it, the journey, you know, you just know. But I feel like I've been on this journey many, many times. So I feel like I can just say it is an exciting time. It's an exciting time for God's chosen people. It's an exciting time for people who are finally showing up for themselves. It's an exciting time for people who are wanting to do something different, who are showing up and changing, who are saying no to their past selves, to their past habits. And when you do that, it gets chaotic. Stuff starts happening. I'm gonna have another video in a few days because I have more to say. I have more to say because I've been doing so much work and I've actually been writing journal entries